To talk more about ICSI, which is Intracytoplasmic Sperm Injection, is a new facility, relatively new procedure that we're using a lot in the equine industry right now. The process is you'll go in with a long needle vaginally through the mare and go get a hold of her ovary, and you're going to poke and aspirate the fluid that's in those follicles. And so with that fluid, you're going to get an oocyte. So you'll go in and poke, maybe 5 follicles on one side and 5 follicles on the other. And you'll go in and search under a microscope and find those oocytes. Typically, your recovery rate on oocytes after aspiration is about 80%. So you poke 10 follicles and aspirate them, you're going to get probably 8 oocytes. So what we'll do is we will package those oocytes up and send them to a lab. Once they get it at a lab, they're going to mature those oocytes. They'll put them in a special media and mature those oocytes. The ones that mature, they're going to inject a sperm cell into those, put them in a separate media, and mature them in an incubator. It's a very specialized technique. And once they get to be 7, 8, 9, 10 days old and look good and they've formed a blastocyst, they can ship those embryos back to us, and then we can put them in a surrogate or a recipient mare here, just like we would a fresh embryo. And so it's a procedure that we're basically bypassing the uterus of a mare. So say a mare has a bad uterine infection that you can't get cleared up. ICSI's a perfect, she'll be a perfect candidate for ICSI, because you can go in there and just bypass that uterus and get those oocytes out. It's also beneficial on mares, older mares that you're having a hard time getting embryos from. It's another procedure that you can use to get a pregnancy out of that mare. And this is kind of the dummy version of ICSI, if you will. There's great articles and videos on the websites everywhere that can go into more detail, because it is a very detailed deal. But one thing that we've noticed that it's helped our clients with is, say you have a mare that has a bad uterine infection, you can spend a lot of money trying to clean that uterus up and still not get a great chance of getting an embryo, where ICSI is a lot more money to do up front, but you may be spending less money and getting a result right away, versus trying 3, 4, 5 times to flush an embryo and not get it. You can go one time and may have a chance of getting multiple embryos from the ICSI procedure. So I think kind of our average last year in 2021 was, of all the mares that we aspirated, which were 80 mares, we averaged 1.2 embryos per aspiration. So pretty impressive results. I feel like we haven't gone through and done our 2022, but I believe that number is gonna go up from 2021. So a procedure that is more expensive, so you need to make sure that resulting foal will benefit that extra procedure. You're going to look at probably around $3,000 to $3,500, maybe $4,000 more than a traditional flushing an embryo, but it increases your chances of actually getting a pregnancy.